A very happy Children's Day to you all. Every year on 14th of November, when we celebrate Children's Day on the occasion of the birth anniversary of our ex-Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, Children's Day is celebrated to increase awareness, educate the children, and bring them up to date with the happenings of the world. Now, in today's world, when all the children, not only children, when all of us are in a rat race to earn more and more money, creating awareness, creating financial awareness is a must, even though you are at a stage in your life when you are still not earning money. Correct? So, this short course on financial literacy is primarily aimed at children who are going to pass out of school, step into their college, and like this course will help you be abreast with what is happening in the financial world, how you should manage money, if you are getting stuff like pocket money, and if you want new age gadgets from your parents, and how do you manage your finances, how do you fulfill your dreams, and what is it with money that you should do so that you are happy in your life, because the ultimate aim, say, to education, to building our careers, is to find happiness. So when our pursuit in life is towards gaining that happiness, money is just one of the means that will help you get comfort and achieve material happiness in life. But we are going to concentrate on that aspect of your lives today, and how money management is necessary and what all things you should know if you are at an age when you are just passing out of school and getting into college.
So let us start with this short course. Now, as I told you, this course is basically for children who are stepping into a newer system of education, who are just passing out of college. Say you are in standard 10, or you are going to go into standard 11, you are studying in 11th and 12th. This course is basically for you to understand what are the various ways in which you can manage money. Right, so we will start with this small course. Say suppose you have some money with you over a period, say on your birthdays, when your grandparents or your parents, your friends gift you say some money, and you deposit it or you keep it aside, and you have built up a small amount of money, say 10,000 rupees is what you have from all the collections on your birthdays and Diwalis and festivals when elders gift us money. Correct? So say suppose you have that amount of money. I want you to, at the beginning, I want you to jot down some items which you think if you had that money, you will go out and buy. Correct. Now, these are what kind of items would you buy? I have listed down a few items like food, say a laptop, which is a necessity nowadays, say a smartphone, because all of us knew how these came in handy when we had to take up classes sitting from our houses, correct, because of the COVID lockdowns. Clothes are some of the items that I have jotted down, and I want you to write down 3 other items other than what I have mentioned on the screen that you think you will go and buy if you had the money with you. Correct? Now this is on one side that I want you to do a small exercise. If you see the other part of the slide where I have written, if you had the money that you that would fulfill your want, which are the kinds of wants that you may never be able to buy, even if you had all the money for it. Correct? I have listed down time and nature. Can you list down 3 more such items other than what I have mentioned on the slide? I'll give you a hint. You can write down, say, health, right? Which like you cannot go out and buy a good health for yourself. You have to work hard for it, correct? So like these, I want you to write down 3 more items which even if you had money, you would not be able to go and buy them. What I want to tell you from these 2 points is see, what you should do is if you have the money and if you want to go out and buy a few things, always bifurcate those things into needs and wants. Correct? Now, the 2 words are very easy to understand. What are needs? Needs are basically your necessities. Like say food, clothing, shelter. We have studied this in our schools, correct? Are necessities. But add to the list things like a smartphone or a laptop have also become necessities in this digital world that we live in. Correct? So try and bifurcate your wishes into whether they fall into the category of needs or whether they come into the category of wants. Now wants, you can wish for anything. You can wish for like going on a trip abroad, or you can wish say to go to a 5-star hotel or buy the most expensive car. Wishes like they have no limits, correct? But are these really going to make a difference in your lives? Yes, even if you don't go to a 5-star hotel, is it going to make much of a difference? Ask yourself that question and you will immediately be able to bifurcate your wishes into whether they fall into the category of needs and whether they fall into the category of wants. Correct? You will get the answer very quickly. Now, needs, the things that fall into the category of needs, you cannot compromise on them, correct? You cannot stay hungry for one day. Why? Because you wanted to save money, say to go to a picnic with your friends or go and watch a movie with your friends, correct? You can't do that. Why? Because it is a basic necessity. You will need to fulfill it. So, needs are something where you cannot compromise. Needs are something where you will need to spend money. So then can you compromise on your wants? Yes, very much. You can make a compromise on your wants. Why? Because priority has to be given to items which fall into the category of needs. Correct? So, every time you wish to go and buy something from the market, make it a habit to think over it for some time. Think whether it falls into the category of needs or whether it falls into the category of wants. Think whether buying that item is really going to add value to your life, or is it just a show off that you want to buy, say a smart watch, wherein there is no other use to you at the stage at which you are in your lives, other than just showing it off amongst your friend circle. Correct? Is it really going to add any value? Think about it. And if it does, if you are a runner, if you are into sports and you need that kind of a watch, well, go for it. It will fall then into the category of needs and not wants. Correct? So every time you think of buying something, every time you wish to do something, always ponder over it, bifurcate it, see whether it comes into the category of needs and wants, and give priority to the needs. And you can say give some time to your wants, think and rethink, and then if you think it is absolutely necessary for you to go and buy it, then only go for fulfilling your wants. Yes, basics, very, very necessary. Yeah, don't be haphazard when you go to buy things. Yeah, I have been wanting to buy this. Go out in the market, spend the money that is needed because parents are giving you a free hand into spending, and buy things. Yes, don't do such things when you are spending the hard-earned money, maybe of yourselves or your parents as well. Correct? Right. Now, here are some images that I have put. Check image A, which is a palatial house. Yeah. Check this, which is an apartment. right? Now if I give you an option between choosing image A, which is not less, which is a house not less than a palace, and say an apartment condo wherein you have one block in the building, which one would you like to choose? Well, it is a no-brainer, and you would obviously want to choose a palatial house. That is what everybody of us dreams. The bigger the house, the better, correct? The more luxurious it can be. The looks of it also are way better than what this looks, correct? Now check this car. Now this is a luxury car. It is a sports car of a world-renowned brand. And check this car, right? It is a small car, probably the first cars that families usually buy. Obviously, if I ask you a question, which one would you dream to buy one day? The answer most probably is going to be this one, a Ferrari, correct? But see, why am I showing you these pictures is these are our wishes. We wish to stay in a palatial house. We wish to buy a luxury car, correct? But if you have this car, is it not going to take you from one place to the other like this Ferrari does? Or if you are staying in an apartment, don't you have shelter on top of your head, plus some neighbors, yes, who are going to make your life more enjoyable rather than staying in this singleton house with no one to share your joys and sorrows with. Well, there are two sides to each coin. But when I wanted to, what I wanted to show you from these pictures is when we see two contrasting pictures, we all almost all the time dream of the more luxurious ones, correct? But the more the luxury, the more the money you need, correct? Again, as we discussed in the first the slide before, that bifurcating between wants and needs is a must, because this house is going to help you with the needs that you want to fulfill, a shelter and a place to stay, correct? Likewise, this car is also going to take you from one place to the other, and in crowded cities that we live in, smaller the car, better it is nowadays, correct? So it is just a point of view, and always try and bifurcate things between your needs and wants. Do you really need a car? Is there a public transport available which you can use to ply from one place to other? Yeah, such questions need to arise in your mind. Just because you see some movie star going around in some swanky car does not mean that is the ultimate aim in life, right? Now, money matters. See, what happens is our wants are unlimited, our wishes are unlimited, but the resource that we have with us, no matter if you earn in thousands or you earn in lakhs or you earn in millions, the wants will always supersede the resources. Your wishes to buy something from the market will always supersede the amount of money that you have with you. So then what is the way out? You cannot go and buy everything that you wish for. Then what you should do is set SMART goals. Now what is SMART? Now this is an acronym that I have given to how the goals should be set. Well, S stands for specific. Now specific is quantifiable. Give a value to your goal. In the sense, say suppose you are studying in standard 10 and after your board exams you wish to go on some hiking trip with your schoolmates. Correct? Now, where do you want to go? Just saying, I want to go to a hiking trip. You can go, say, somewhere in the Himalayas, or you can go abroad and climb some mountain. Yeah, there can be many options where you can go hiking. But being specific about, say, I want to go and do hiking in at the foothills of Himalayas. Yeah, saying that is putting your goal in specifying your goal about what you want to do. Once you specify your goal, it becomes measurable, in the sense, if you wish to go at the foothills of Mount Everest, then you know that you will have to travel from your hometown in India to a place somewhere in Nepal, and then you will come to know the amount of money that you will need. You will look out for tours and agents who arrange such tours, and the kind of money they charge for you to take up that particular goal. Correct? Now, once you have specific goal, measuring the amount of money that you will need to achieve that goals becomes easier. Correct? Now, achievable, in the sense, see, you just can't wish for something which is out of the world. You have, say, suppose you are in standard 10, and you have never gone hiking, and you set up a goal for yourself that you will go and climb Mount Everest. Now, is it going to be easy? Well, it's not going to be easy, because there is a lot of practice, acclimatization, and a lot of preparation that you need to achieve that particular goal. So set goals which are achievable. Set goals that you know you will be able to fulfill. Realistic goals, again, achievable and realistic synonymously can be used. Say suppose during COVID lockdowns, if someone had to travel and someone had to go on tour during lockdowns, if you had passed out your 10th then and you wanted to go touring with your friends, would the goal be realistic? Well, no. When everything was in lockdown and there was absolutely no travel that was happening, even if you had a dream of going on a trip with your friends, that goal would still have been unrealistic. So, what are the circumstances surrounding you? Is the goal realistic enough so that it can be achieved? Understanding this is very, very important, and time bound. In the sense, when I gave you this example that, say, after your board exams, you wish to go on a hiking trip, there is a specific time period that you have set for yourself. Say your board exams finish by March end, and say suppose in April or May you wish to go on a hiking trip. You know that from November till May you have those many days, 6 months, to fulfill your dreams, to put whatever money that was needed to set aside, to talk to your parents about how that can be arranged. Correct? So you have a specific time frame within which you know that you will have to achieve the objectives of fulfilling the goal that you have set for yourself. Correct? So if you don't have that time frame in mind, then all the other SMAR and becomes they are of no use, so to say. So always set up SMART goals when it comes to money matters. Again, to recap, what is SMART, the acronym, what does it stand for? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Yeah, so basically becoming aware about what you want to do, what is needed so that you achieve that want, what kind of money you need, what is the time frame that you have in mind when like for achieving that particular goal. All this makes you aware of what all you need to do so that at the end of 6 months, when May 2023 arises, your goal will be easily achievable. Correct? So setting SMART goals is a stepping stone. See, when you set up SMART goals, what happens is you give yourself that 6 months period. Why am I saying 6 months? It is because of the example that I gave you. So you have a 6 months period to adjust your expenses, talk to your parents about the kind of money that you are looking for Ask them if it is going to be feasible for the family as such to spend such kind of money on your tour. Yes, and adjust your expenses from the pocket money that is given to you every month. Cut out some unnecessary expenses and save some money so that you can use it on your tour. All this can be achievable when you have time on your hand, correct? Time on your side. So setting up smart goals, giving yourself the time, and becoming aware about the needs, the adjustments that you will have to do to achieve those goals is very, very important. Now, these are some basics of money matters. All of you know this, all of you have studied this, at least the first line of the equation. Income minus your expenditure is surplus. Correct? So, what is income? Money that you earn, say by way of salary, or say a business that your parent must be doing, and the income that must be generated from that business is income. Expenditure is what? All the spendings that happen in your household, say your monthly bills, internet, mobile, electricity, say housemaid bills, petrol expenses. So many expenditures that we take, that are taken up in the house every month. Your say tuition fees, school fees, bus fees, so many expenses that happen every month. So whatever is left after spending the money is a surplus, is something that is available with you over and above the spending that is done in the household. Now the second part must be new to you. What are assets, what are liabilities, and what is net worth? See, assets, say you own a watch, or you own a smartphone, or say you live in a house which is owned by your parents, you have a car, some jewelry that your parents must be having. What are all these? Assets are something which are long term, which will help generate income. Correct? So any investment, any material thing that your parents possess, be it gold or some money in fixed deposits or equity shares, a house, a piece of land, all these are termed as assets. And what are liabilities? Liabilities are dues, money which is owed. Say there is a loan on the house that your parents must have bought. Repaying that loan is an obligation. It is a liability that your parents will have to fulfill. Say suppose they have taken up a loan to educate you. An education loan again is an example of liability. So basically, whatever assets you have, deduct the liabilities, deduct the dues that you have to fulfill as an obligation, and what you are left with is your net worth. Now, net worth is basically what helps you decide whether you are wealthy or you are a pauper. See, most of the times what happens is, nowadays in our societies, people use smartphones, and every few months a new model of the smartphone comes into the market. Cars are bought and foreign holidays happen. Need not necessarily mean that the person who is doing all this or buying the latest gadgets is wealthy, is rich, because that is one way we look at people. How are they spending money? The more the money they spend, obviously you would think the richer they are, but that is not the case. Spending money does not mean you are rich. Now you should ask me, a question should arise in your minds. Why is she saying so? If someone doesn't have the money, how can someone spend it? Correct? So obviously if you had that kind of money, only then would you spend it. But in today's world, that is not the case. Say your neighbor has bought a Mercedes Benz, and you don't know whether it was bought from the money that they had, or they took up a loan from the bank to buy that car. Yes, say one of your friends goes on a foreign trip every holiday. Now, going on foreign trip does not make one rich. Understand that. You can book your tickets using your credit cards, which is again an obligation that you have to repay back the amount that you have used on the credit card. And like buy tickets, swipe your credit card left, right and center, and like fulfill your dreams. But at the end of the month, you have to repay back the money that you have used swiping your credit card. So just spending money does not make one rich. Net worth, positive net worth, so more of assets and less of liabilities, which gives a positive net worth, is the true value of wealth that a person has. So looking at the spending pattern of, say, your friends or family or neighbors, do not judge or do not come to conclusions about the kind of wealth and riches that they have. They might be borrowing money from the bank or just swiping their credit cards and spending money to show off. That is not the way things work. That is not the way you achieve long-term wealth. You become wealthier over a period of time, and you become wealthier only when the assets that you hold are more than the money that you have to repay back. As simple as that. So don't get carried away when you see such things around you. Right. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is budget. Very, very important. What is a budget? See, you are old enough to know that on the last day of February, a union budget is presented in our parliament. The finance minister. Now, who is the finance minister now? I hope you know the name of the minister. If not, please Google it and mention the name in the comment section below this video. I'll give you a hint. She is a lady. We have a lady finance minister in India. Now, on the last day of February every month, the finance minister presents the budget of the country, for the whole of the country. Now, what is the budget? It is basically an estimate of the kinds of income and the kinds of spendings that the government will undertake in the coming year. Correct? That is what is called budgeting. It is a rough estimate about where the government will receive money from and where it intends to spend the money that is received. Right? Likewise, for yourself as an individual also, it is very, very necessary to make a budget. Why? Because you know what is going to be the source of income. Say suppose you are getting pocket money every month. Say suppose your parents are giving you 1,000 rupees pocket money every month. You know that your income is going to be 12,000 for a particular year. How and what are you going to spend that 12,000 on? Again, going back to the first slide, bifurcate your wishes into needs and wants, and then decide what is absolutely necessary to be bought with the money that your parents are giving you, and where you need to save money so that your wish can be fulfilled at a future point of time. So budgeting is very, very necessary. It gives us an estimation. It gives us a plan about where we are going to get money from and how we intend to spend that money. With budgeting, what happens is you do not end up spending more than what you are getting, because you have it in black and white that this is what I am going to receive and this is what I intend to spend that money on. Correct? So what I have written down here is basically it is an estimate of income and expenditure. Secondly, for a specific time frame, normally 1 year is what is the time frame for preparing a budget. Correct? It helps to set goals. Like the example that we took, that if you wish to go on a hiking trip in May, then you have a time frame of 6 months. You have a specific goal, a specific target that you want to achieve at the end of 6 months. So you start adjusting your expenses 6 months before and making necessary changes to your spending pattern so that you come up with the kind of money you need after 6 months. Correct? it helps in measuring outcomes. What is this? Say suppose we are in the month of November and this is your birth month and you intend to give a birthday party to your friends. Now you will need to spend money for that, correct? Taking this kind of money into consideration, say suppose you have decided to have your birthday party or to like take your friends to a nearby McDonald's and like do a party there. The kind of money that you will need for that kind of excursion to a restaurant, you know the prices at McDonald's, you know the number of friends that you would invite and the kind of money that you will need to spend on that particular party, correct? But say you decide that you will spend 1,000 rupees and you end up spending 1,200 rupees instead of 1,000. Now 200 rupees you have spent extra. If you are in a habit of making a budget, then you will come to know that in the budget you had budgeted only for 1,000 rupees towards birthday party, towards the birthday party that you had planned, but you ended up spending 200 rupees more. If you have this in writing, then only you will be able to measure outcomes and compare it with the budget, and then you will understand where the budget needs adjustments, where you went overboard, or where you spent less than what you thought you would spend. So writing it in black and white is very, very necessary. What happens with budget is it helps you both not only in the long term but also in the short term to finance all the needs that arise over a period of time, right? Now, what is a cash flow statement? A cash flow statement is basically a statement of where you are getting cash, where the cash is coming in and where the cash is going out. So again, writing down this statement on say prepare a book or a diary and write down the expenses that you take up every day. Say you have a cup of you go out for an ice cream after your class, or say go to a restaurant on a Sunday, or buy some chocolates or some stationery that you need. Any minute item, major or minor, any item of spending that is undertaken by you on a daily basis needs to be jotted down. Say in a diary that you prepare, a cash flow diary that you prepare, so you know that on a particular date you have received this income and day wise how you have spent the money you have received, correct? Now this term opportunity cost is a relatively new term for you. Now what is this term? What this term basically means is it is the benefit that you miss out when you choose a different alternative. Now say suppose you have an option that today there was a cricket match on TV and you had an option of going to a nearby movie theater to watch a movie and you gave preference to the cricket match. Now what is opportunity cost? It is the benefit of going out and watching a movie that you have missed as you chose the second alternative of watching a cricket match on television. Now this is what is an opportunity cost, the measure of the benefit that you have missed out on because you have chosen a different alternative. That is what is an opportunity cost. Why is it necessary to be known? Well, when you see, we are always faced with choices and we choose one option and leave the rest. What we have left, what we do not choose is the opportunity cost that we forego over what we have chosen, correct? Right. Now, when in this slide before, when I said income minus expenditure is surplus. Now, this surplus basically is extra money over and above that is left after you have spent on all the necessities and wants in a particular month. Now, what happens to this surplus? What do we do with this surplus? Normally, we have bank accounts wherein the surplus money is kept. But if we keep the money as it is, the value of the money decreases over a period of time. Now, I hope you are getting what I am saying. Say you at the end of the month, say suppose you are getting 1,000 rupees as from your parents every month, and you spend say suppose 600 rupees in a particular month, so 400 rupees is surplus over and above your spendings. So what happens is this 400 rupees, if you do not invest, if you do not put it in such an investment option where it will give you returns, the value of 400 rupees will go down. Now, why am I saying this? 400 rupees are going to remain 400 rupees. Why am I saying the value will go down? Well, understand the terminology or understand inflation to know why value of money decreases. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is basically rising prices. Now, the easiest example that you can understand of inflation are petrol prices, how they have risen over a period of time. Say before COVID, the petrol prices hovered somewhere around 75-80 rupees. Today, where are they? More than 100 rupees, nearly 110 to 112 rupees a litre. Now, 1 litre of petrol that you bought say 3 years back would cost you say somewhere around 75-80 rupees, but that same litre of petrol you will have to spend 35 rupees more if you had to go and buy that litre of petrol today. Correct? So say you have 100 rupees. 3 years back, with that 100 rupees, you could purchase 1 litre and say 250 ml more with a 100 rupee note. Would you be able to purchase the same quantity of petrol today? Well, the answer is no. You will not even get a litre of petrol with a 100 rupee note. So, the value of that 100 rupee has reduced over a period of time. Easy to understand? Yes, did you follow? Correct? So with inflation, what happens is the prices of goods and services increase. And if you do not invest the money wherein your money increases over a period of time, but the things that you can buy with that money have gone up. The prices of those things have gone up and your money has remained where it was. What will happen? You will not be able to purchase the same kind of stuff that you would purchase some years back. That is why investing your money is absolutely necessary. With investing, what happens is you are able to get returns, say by way of interest or dividends. You are able to get return on your investments and your money rises. Say suppose you make a bank FD of 400 rupees that remains surplus after you have spent from the 1000 rupees you get every month. Suppose you make a bank FD of 400 rupees and you invest it say for a 1 year, you invest it in a 1 year FD. Now you get a rate of interest of say for example 10%. What is going to be the value of that 400 after earning 10% interest at the end of 1 year? You have done simple interest sums in your school, so calculating interest is very easy. You will earn an interest of 40 rupees at the rate of 10% on the 400 rupees that you have put in a FD. So the value of your 400 after 1 year is going to be 440 rupees. That's how investment helps to increase your money. Correct? So investment is, as the first line says, the backbone of wealth creation. It is the very basic step which will help you create wealth over a long period of time. Keeping the money as it is, okay, I have 400 rupees, I'll keep it in my cupboard and maybe use it next month. But if you just keep on keeping it, keep it in your cupboard and do nothing with the money, you will not be able to buy the same kind of items which you bought say few months back. Why? Because prices of those items are increasing day by day. So your money also has to increase day by day to match the rising prices of goods and services. Correct? Now, the second line justifies what I just said. It is a buffer, it is a cushion against inflation. And if you keep on investing right from a very early age, what happens is till you grow old, a significant corpus is created, and after you have stopped working in life, that corpus becomes useful for you for your retirement days. Correct? Now, with that investment, even though the prices of goods and services are rising, if you have made investments and your money is rising, you will be able to maintain a certain standard of living. Correct? What is standard of living? Standard of living is the way in which we live. It is, you travel in a train and you travel no less than in AC coaches or AC buses. Yeah, maintaining that level, maintaining the same level, same standard of living is what is important. We always aspire to increase our standard of living. Correct? Few years back, I used to travel by bus. Then I bought myself a two-wheeler, then a four-wheeler. Now I travel in aeroplanes. Increase in standard of living day by day. That is what one should aspire. How do you do that? By investing money in places where the value of money is going to rise higher than the rise in prices of goods and services. So where the value of money is going to rise higher than the inflation rate, that is how wealth is created over a period of time. That is how you maintain and increase your standard of living over a period of time. Investment again will help you achieve short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals, say after you have graduated, you intend to go abroad and do your post-graduation, the kind of money that you need then. Or say suppose you intend to buy a house for yourself 10 years down the line. Long-term goals, you intend to buy a four-wheeler for yourself 5 years down the line. Long-term goal, all these goals become easily achievable if you start investing your money at a very early stage in your life. That is why investment is rightly said to be the backbone of wealth creation. Now, what are the investment mantras? First is the holy trinity of safety, liquidity, growth. Now what happens? What does this mean? What is safety? Safety is the safety of the money that you have invested. Many a times what happens is there are some advertisements in the newspapers where say banks are giving FD, banks have published an FD rate of say 5% or 6%, and some company comes up with an advertisement saying that make an FD in our company and we will give you 10% returns. Now almost double than what banks are giving. Correct? And anyone would get easily attracted. Why? Because the more our money increases, the more we want it. Correct? But how safe is the company? Who are the people running the company? Is the company profit making, or is it just an advertisement wherein with the intention to defraud people? Correct? After all, if you put say 20,000 rupees in that company, you should at least get that 20,000 rupees back. Leave aside the 10% interest, but at least your principal is what should be returned to you. So safety of your hard-earned money should be topmost in your mind. Correct? So where would you invest your money where you know it is going to be safe? The company that you invest your money is a good company with a good track record. People running the company are good. There are no fraud cases against anyone in the company. The company has been consistently making profit. Look at all these things. and then put in your hard-earned money. Why? Because earning money is not easy. A lot of efforts and time is spent on earning money. Correct? So easily losing that money is not the way you invest. So safety should be a priority when you invest your money. Second thing is liquidity. What is liquidity? How soon can you encash the money you have invested? Say you make an FD in a bank for 1 year, but say some emergency arises 6 months down the line, and you want that money back. Now, will the bank give you the money after you have demanded it to be returned? Well, the answer is yes. Liquidity is how soon you can encash your investments, because after all it is your money. Whenever you need the money, you should be able to get that money as soon as possible. Alternatively, say suppose you invest in a piece of land, and there is some urgency and you need the money ASAP, as soon as possible. Will your land get sold? I need the money today. Will the land get sold on that very day when I need the money? Well, no. It is a time consuming thing, correct? You need to find a buyer. The buyer has to be legitimate. The papers have to be in place. Then you need to fetch a lawyer. An agreement has to be done, which has to be registered. All that stuff which is time consuming, which takes a longer duration of time, and the money that you have invested in is not easily liquidated. So liquidity again is a very important thing that you should keep in mind. How soon can your investments be encashed in case you need the money? And growth. Why is growth necessary? Growth is necessary again because of inflation, because of rising prices. If your money is not growing, the value of your money is going to go down over a period of time. So money has to grow at a rate which is higher than the inflation rate. Now currently in India, the inflation rate is hovering somewhere around 7%. Now, if your money has to grow, if the value of your money has to increase, you need to get returns higher than the 7% inflation, that the data which is published by the central bank of the country, which is Reserve Bank of India. So your money has to grow. The target you should have in mind is to grow your money, to put your money in such investments that it grows at a higher rate than the inflation rate prevalent in the country. Time value of money. If you have grandparents in the house, it is always a matter of discussion, especially when milk, when you go out and buy milk, and you know the milk prices are somewhere around 55 and 60 rupees a liter, and your grandmother or grandfather would say when he was young, when she was young, milk would cost only 2 rupees a liter, and look where it has reached today. Correct? The quantity of milk is the same. 1 liter milk say 50 years back and 1 liter milk today. But the amount of money that you need to buy the same quantity of milk is different. This is what is time value of money. Time value of money. More money you need, the more there is a time gap. Why? Again, coming down to inflation. What is the power of compounding? Well, Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, has there is this very famous quote by him where he says that compounding is the 8th wonder in the world. Now, what is compounding? Compounding interest formula, which I have put on in the slide, you have studied in school. Say you have put money in an FD, a quarterly compounding FD, 100 rupees, say at 10% FD, which compounds every quarter. Now what happens is, if the money is not quarterly compounding, you know that you will earn 10 rupees on 100 rupees FD at 10% interest. You will earn an interest of 10 rupees in 1 year. But when it becomes quarterly compounding, what happens is, interest on 100 rupees is first calculated at the end of first quarter. That interest is added to your 100 rupees. So for the next quarter, you will earn interest on 100 rupees plus the first quarter interest. So compounding is what? Every quarter the interest gets added and you earn interest on interest. So if you keep money invested for a longer period of time, the more the period that you keep your money invested, the more the benefit of compounding that you earn. Correct? So time frame is what is very necessary so that you get the advantage of compounding. That is why starting early on in your life with investing and continue investing over a long period of time, what you achieve is the benefit of compounding. Right. Next, we go to basics of banking. Now, many of us have bank accounts. Many of you would have bank accounts. Your parents must have opened a bank account. Please, there is this myth that until and unless you achieve 18 years of age or become an adult, you cannot have bank accounts. Well, no. As a child, you can have bank accounts with a guardian, with say any of your parent or say grandparents as guardian, and you can have bank accounts. Now here are some pictures that I have put. The first picture is of ICICI Bank. Now this is a very famous, very big private sector bank in the country. Correct? What is private sector? Which is not owned by the government. Correct? Second picture is of State Bank of India. State Bank of India is the biggest bank in India. It is the bank with the largest network of branches. Now State Bank of India is a government owned bank, is a PSU, public sector undertaking. Banks like ICICI Bank, HDFC, Yes Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis Bank are all private sector banks where government is not the owner. Banks like State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bank of Maharashtra, Punjab and Sindh Bank, Canara Bank are all examples of government owned bank, PSU bank. Now, how do you bifurcate? Yeah, if you are new to banking, how do you bifurcate between which is a government bank and which is a private sector bank? Well, when the bank is state owned or central government owned, it is very specifically written on the nameplates outside the branches of the bank that it is a government of India undertaking. Pay attention to the nameplates outside the bank branches and you will come to know if the bank is a government owned bank. So very specifically it is written a government of India undertaking. So you know it is a government owned bank, right? In private sector no such thing is mentioned. Now the third picture is, you can see what the picture is. It is of Reserve Bank of India. Now is it the same as SBI and ICICI? What do you think? Can you go and open an account with Reserve Bank of India? The answer is no. Reserve Bank of India is Bankers Bank. It is a regulatory authority. It is like a what can we say? Say a teacher or a monitor to all other banks. It monitors the working, be it of PSU or government banks or private sector banks. All the banking systems, all the banks in the country come under the umbrella of Reserve Bank of India. So it is the central bank of the country. It is the bank which looks after the working of all the banks in India. Correct? Next. Now this is an image of a check. What all should you know when you see a check? Now, what is a check? Check is basically an instrument whereby money is transferred from one account to the other, or money is paid from one account to the person whose name is mentioned on the check. Now see this check. The name of the bank is mentioned, State Bank of India. The address of the bank is mentioned. It is a New Delhi based branch of State Bank of India. After the address, below the address, if you see, there is an IFSC code. Now this code is an 11-digit code. The first 4 digit SBIN relates to the bank for which this code is given. 5th digit is always a 0. The next 6 digits tell you which branch of SBI does this check belong to. Correct? That is the bifurcation of IFSC code. You have to mention the date in DD, MM and YYYY format. Correct? Then what happens is, say Deepak Das has an account with State Bank of India, New Delhi, Mahadev Road branch. Now he has to pay some money to Teach Lane. So pay Teach Lane. What is he doing? He is ordering his branch to pay Teach Lane or order. So what is order? Pay Teach Lane. What is Deepak Das ordering his branch? To pay Teach Lane or order. Now if Teach Lane has to pay money to someone else, what do? They endorse the name of that party behind the check. So Teach Lane or the order of Teach Lane. So whoever Teach Lane has endorsed the check to, or Teach Lane. Rupees 5,000. Here it is mentioned in words and then in figures. The account number 856-326-145-2630 belongs to Deepak Das. Correct? So from this account, he is ordering his branch to pay Teach Lane or the order rupees 5,000. And he has signed the check. Again, it is written multi-city check payable at par at all branches. So if Teach Lane is not present in Delhi, but Teach Lane operates, say, out of Mumbai, and if Teach Lane presents this check in State Bank of India Mumbai branch, the check will be payable there. Multi-city checks payable at all branches. Correct? It is specifically written on the check. So wherever Teach Lane has an account or wherever Teach Lane is present, Mumbai, Kolkata, Pune, Bhopal, wherever, they can go to State Bank of India in that particular city and get this check encashed. Now below the sign and the multi-city that is written, there are a few numbers. Now the first number 950020 is the check number which is unique to every check. The second code is what? It is a MICR code. What is this code? The first 3 digits of the code signify the city in which the bank is present. Normally relates to the postal code of the city. Correct? The next 3 digits relate to the branch, the bank, and the next 3 digits relate to the branch. The RBI account number is what SBI has with the central bank, and transaction code, right? All these figures are very, very important. Now this is a specimen of a check. If on the top left hand corner of the check 2 parallel slanting lines are drawn, the check becomes an account payee check, which means the money has to be paid to Teach Lane only in their bank account. Teach Lane will not get cash for this particular check. When a check is crossed, that is what is called crossing. When 2 slanting parallel lines are drawn on the top left hand corner of the check, it is said to be a crossed check, and money has to be deposited only in the bank account to whom the check is drawn in favor of. Understood? Right. Next. Now what are the types of bank accounts? Well, there are 3 basic types of accounts: savings account, current account, and term deposit account. What is a savings account? Normally individuals open savings accounts. So people like you, me, your parents, grandparents have savings accounts in bank. Savings accounts earn interest somewhere at the rate of 3.5 to 5% depending on which bank you have your account with. Correct? So your savings account earns interest. What is a current account? Current account is normally opened for businesses where the business has to undertake transactions. Now say I have a business with name Arthneeti. Tomorrow if I open an account with the bank for my business Arthneeti, it will be opened as a current account. No interest will be earned on the balance that I have in my current account. Correct? So savings account earns interest. Current account does not earn any interest. Term deposit is again a fixed deposit. So term deposit and fixed deposits are synonymous. There are various kinds of fixed deposit in a bank. You can have a specific term deposit, say like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, so on and so forth. Recurring deposit is also a kind of FD wherein you put in say a fixed sum of money, say 100 rupees per month, every month. So it is a recurring amount that goes into your fixed deposit. So it is a kind of savings that you do. So again, recurring deposit is also a kind of term deposit account that the bank has. Correct? So 3 basic accounts that one can have in a bank are savings account where you can earn interest, current account for your businesses where no interest is earned, and term deposits or fixed deposit accounts which can be term deposit or recurring deposit depending on the kind of investments that you have made. Next, now very interesting topic. Now this building is the Bombay Stock Exchange building which is situated in Mumbai. The photograph is of Bombay Stock Exchange. Right? Now what is a stock exchange? See, on our TV there are a few channels like say CNBC or ET Now. You have channels like Z Business, correct? CNBC, Awaz. What are all these channels? These channels tell you news about businesses. If you, I want you to go to these channels and see what all is written on the screens over there. There is a ticker which goes like on the lower side of your TV screens, which is continuously moving. It gives the prices, it gives some numbers which are changing in front of names of companies, say like Nestle or HUL or Bajaj or Reliance, some names that we know, Tata Motors, yeah. You can make out the names and there are some numbers that keep on going up and down continuously, and the ticker is a continuous ticker. Correct? What are these numbers? Well, these basically are share prices. These are the share prices as and how they change in the stock market. So, here are some examples, some news cuttings that I have pasted. Zomato, all of you know Zomato, Swiggy, very famous, correct? Now, Zomato IPO. Zomato filed its draft red herring prospectus with SEBI for its 7,875 crore IPO. What is an IPO? Initial public offer. Okay. Now, how is it related to stock markets? Well, when does the company come up with an IPO? Say a company wants more money. It needs to raise more capital. Now, say suppose tomorrow you need more money. What do? You say ask your relatives or your parents to loan you some money. Or you go to your bank and ask them to give you a loan. Correct? What are shares? Well, shares is a kind of capital raising or money raising method by which you sell stake in your company to people outside. Correct? So you invite people to become shareholders, part owners. Very necessary, pay attention. When you are a shareholder in a company, you become part owner up to the value amount of your or the number of shares that you hold. You become a part owner of that company and you invest your money in that company. So when ownership is diluted, when capital has to be raised, when money has to be raised, say for expansion or building or buying a new machinery or starting a subsidiary business, for all this when money is needed, and instead of going to a bank or asking for a loan, when ownership in a company is diluted and it is bifurcated into equal parts called shares, and invitation is given through prospectus to the general public to become co-owners in the company. Yes, those are equity shares where people invest their money. They become co-owners in a company. Now, once you invest in a company, those shares are listed on an exchange. That exchange is called a stock market. We have two big exchanges in India. One is Bombay Stock Exchange and the other is National Stock Exchange. So majority of the companies are listed on these two exchanges. Once you have invested in the shares of a company, say few years down the line, you need the money and you want to liquidate those shares. You want to sell those shares and get the value of those shares back. What happens is you do not write to the company saying that when you wanted money, I invested in your shares. Now take those shares back and give me back my money. It doesn't work like that. Say few years down the line, you want to liquidate those shares. You want to encash the money that you had invested in those shares. Whatever prices the shares are getting traded on the market, you will have to sell your shares at that price in the market, not the company. So stock exchange is basically a market where you buy and sell shares after the shares have been issued in an IPO. Now, when you apply for an IPO, initial public offer, the shares will be deposited in your demat accounts. That's where shares are held in electronic or digital form. Correct? So the shares will be deposited in your demat accounts by the company. But later on, if you want to sell those shares or if you want to buy some shares who already of a company which already has come up with an IPO a few years back, you will have to go to a stock exchange wherein you can sell your existing shares or buy new shares that are getting traded. Now, because there are so many trades that happen in a day for buying and selling shares, the prices of those shares constantly change. And when you switch on to these news channels, the prices are the ticker that is constantly running at the lower side of your screens constantly show these changes in the prices based on whether more people are buying those shares or more people are selling those shares. That is how stock markets operate. Well, when you invest money in an equity share, you do not earn interest but you earn dividends. The second photo is of HDFC Bank declaring dividend of 6.5 rupees per share for the last financial year. Correct? So when you have put some money in an FD at a 10% FD in a bank, you know that you are going to get interest at a fixed 10%. But when you invest money in an equity share, the dividend, that is the return that you get from that share, is not fixed. It depends on the profitability of the company. It depends on the working of the company. How much profit did the company make? If the company makes losses, you are not going to get any returns because there is going to be no surplus that the company has from which it can pay you dividends. Correct? So dividends are not fixed. They depend on the performance of the company. So while investing money in equity shares or IPO, make sure that you know the kind of business that the company is in, the financials of the company. Is there profit that the company has shown before it came out with the IPO? Who are the founders of the company? Like what is their qualification? Have they had any other successful stints? Were they in any other business which was successful and then later on they have jumped into this business? All this knowledge, what is the kind of market, what is the future? Say, take an example, a company like Kodak. We all know that Kodak was the pioneer of cameras, camera photos that we take. Where is Kodak today? Well, the company is shut. Why? Because with the inventions like digital camera and now camera in our phones itself, the old system wherein you had to put in a roll into the camera and then get the roll developed from a particular person or a photo development shop, is no more needed. Kodak was not able to switch to this new change early on in the market, and therefore they fell behind. Why take Kodak? Take the example of cell phone company Nokia, right? Initially, when cell phones were launched in India, Nokia was the only brand available. Almost all the market had only Nokia phones, where people had the option to buy were only Nokia phones. Where is Nokia today? Well, it has relaunched itself few years back, but the kind of market that they had in the initial stages of mobile phones is nowhere what they have today. Why? Because the touchscreen phone that Apple came up with, they fell behind. They did not switch on to this new technology at a very early stage. So how is the product of the company? Is it going to remain in the market? Is it going to be successful in the test of time? Say products, take a company, for example, a company like Nestle. Now Nestle has a product, various products like Maggi, or there are baby formulas, baby food. Do you think they'll ever go out of business? The milk formula, especially that is used for babies, right now looks like a far-fetched possibility, correct? Because all of us know the kind of population rise we have in India, and these formulas or substitute milk products are very much used by for the newborn, correct? So this market is far from dead in India. So this company has a good future. Look out for products which will stand the test of time. During Corona, when there was a lockdown for almost a year, which companies did not face losses? Which companies, say companies which make soaps, a company like Hindustan Lever, which has products like Rin or Lux. These are necessities, right? Or take Colgate, for example. Now, can you do without a toothpaste? No, it is a necessity. Look out for companies whose products will stand the test of time. No matter Corona, no matter any other lockdown that we face in the future, or no matter wars, a current Ukraine war is already underway. No matter what the scenario is, look out for products which you will not stop consuming, which you will not stop buying, and then decide the kind of companies that you want to invest your hard-earned money in. Correct? Why? Because dividends or the money that you invest has an inherent risk attached to it. Tomorrow, if the company goes bankrupt, tomorrow if the company faces losses, you are not going to earn any returns. Plus, the money that you had invested in those equity shares might also become zero. So, investing in equity shares has its inherent risk. But over a long period of time, if you have invested with proper background study of the company, then it is a worthwhile investment to do. What are some other investment products? Well, many people think that shares is way out of their league. It is way too risky, and safety, the holy trinity that I had told you about, safety, liquidity and growth. Well, where in some people where safety takes priority over everything else, many people do not opt for investing in shares directly. Then what is the way out? Well, mutual funds will come to your rescue then. What are mutual funds? Basically, when people collect money and appoint a manager who invests the corpus that is collected on behalf of tens and thousands of investors like you and me, and the money is invested after proper study, an expert who has knowledge in the field that he is investing. When this is done, the investment vehicle through which this collected corpus is invested is called a mutual fund. There are various types of mutual funds. There are equity mutual funds which invest in stock markets. Now say you want to buy one particular share, the risk attached in buying one company is more. But if you invest in an equity mutual fund, you will invest in 10 different companies. So even if one company out of the 10 companies makes losses, you still have 9 companies where you have your money invested, and your money is relatively safe when you invest it through a mutual fund. Then there are debt funds. Like equity funds, there are debt funds who invest in fixed return earning securities like say government bonds or company fixed deposits, corporate bonds and stuff like that. So if you are risk averse, if stock market is not your place of investment, then debt mutual funds serve as a right gateway for you. Obviously, the kind of returns that you expect from that you get from equity funds you will not get from debt funds. But safety, if it is your topmost priority, debt funds are to-go funds. Then there is something in between as well, where part of the money is invested in equity and part is invested in debt, right? These are called hybrid funds, balanced funds. What do they do? To take advantage of the kind of returns that equity market give, part of your funds, say 30 or 40% is invested in equity market, and the remaining say 50 or 60% is invested in debt. So your risk is adjusted. So there are various kinds of mutual funds depending on the kind of product that you want to invest in. There are gold funds, there are funds specifically for one particular industry, say like banking funds, infrastructure funds, you name it, and there are mutual funds available in the market. Again, while investing in a mutual fund, something that you should know that look at the fund house. Now various banks like HDFC, ICICI, or say DSP mutual fund, Franklin Templeton mutual funds, Axis mutual funds, these are some well-known names in the mutual fund industry. Look at the performance of the fund house. Look at the performance of a particular fund. Look at the kind of investments that the fund has made, the kind of returns that the fund has given over a period of time. Who is the fund manager? What is his track record? Yes, all this information is readily available on the net. So before investing in a mutual fund, yes, looking at these parameters is absolutely necessary. If you think it is way beyond your league, taking help of an investment consultant any day comes in handy. Why? Because that person is in the know day in and day out. The person is looking after the various mutual funds, studying the performances of the funds, and an investment advisor will be able to help you decide on the correct funds which suit your needs. Correct? There are more than 4,500 mutual fund schemes in India. Which of the you cannot rather invest in all the schemes. Investing in 4 to 5 schemes depending on your need is what is most of the time suitable. So out of this huge number of 4,500, which are those 4-5 funds which will help you achieve your goals is what an investment advisor can help you correctly identify. So taking help of an advisor is any day suggested if you are new to this investment and if you have less knowledge about how mutual funds work, right? Next thing, type of investment is a property, where you can invest, say in a built up property, say an apartment or a house, or say a commercial property like a shop, an office space, or a vacant piece of land. Again, as I have told you a few slides back, when it comes to liquidity, property as an investment is less liquid. It takes time to encash, to sell the property and get cash for it. So if you have short-term goals for which you have invested in property, then that is it is a mismatch. It is an investment mismatch. Properties should always be your investment options when you have long time horizon in your mind. Like equity shares, property also most of the times the prices go on rising, correct? But again, it takes time to liquidate it. So the longer the time duration you have, equities and property, land, freehold land or a built up area is what you should think or have in mind. Now gold. Now say when I spoke of inflation or uncertain times like the ones that we are living right now, no one knows what is going to happen of the Ukraine war, no one knows what is going to happen in North Korea, is the war going to spread to other geographies, what is going to happen, what is going to happen of COVID, has the matter been settled or are we seeing recurrences, waves after waves? No one knows what the future has for us, correct? The times are uncertain. Plus, there is inflation, not only in India, all over the world, everywhere people are facing inflation. Now, gold is said to be a hedge, a cushion against inflation. But in India, what happens is most of the gold that we buy is in the form of ornaments. Say gold chains or the jewelry that your mother owns, right? And selling this to make money is the last thing that we have in our mind, correct? Because we are not only attached to it emotionally, but Stridhan, if you have heard that name, is something which is revered upon and which most of the times we do not sell. Correct? So in India, especially looking at gold for investing or as a buffer against inflation is not done by many households. If you are looking for investing in gold purely from an investment point of view, then gold mutual funds is a to-go option instead of buying gold jewelry, right? Next part is insurance. Now, very, very, very important item when it comes to investment. Now, this particular item is where you spend money, correct? It is not an investment where you expect returns from the money that you have spent. Now, there are some basic insurance that all should have. Is basically a life insurance product, wherein tomorrow if you are the only earning member in your family and you are no more, that should not leave your family out in the open, correct? It should be able to fulfill the financial needs of your family after you have passed away. So basically life insurance is always purchased in the names of earning members in the family. What do? They safeguard the family of the financial trouble after the earner, the bread earner or the income earner in the family has passed away. Correct? So, life insurance in the names of earners, income earners in the family, bread earners in the family. The second insurance that all should have is health insurance. Now, during COVID, like all of us were afraid. No one knew that initially what precautions needed to be taken, how could COVID be prevented, and still people got COVID. Correct? Some had to get hospitalized with large bills that the hospitals raised. So to safeguard your investments against such expenditures, such unforeseen events, when a medical emergency comes up and you need money to deal with that emergency, a health insurance plan is a must. It helps you take care of your hospitalization and medical expenses. Correct? So along with life insurance, health insurance is one product that is a must that you should invest in. One more insurance that is needed is accident insurance. Why am I saying this? Why I say because the commutation that we do, right, the traffic through which we have to pass and the hours that we spend in traffic, yeah, accidents are it's not that you face that possibility day in and day out, but if and when you are in a situation of an accident, this insurance plays an important role. Say suppose you become disabled or you are not able to go to work for a few months, an accident insurance helps you make good the loss that you have suffered because of the accident. So 3 insurance products which are a must: life insurance, health insurance and accident insurance. Again, these are spendings. This is something that you spend. Expecting returns out of it is not going to fulfill your investment goals. So insurance is always an expenditure that is a necessity that you have to do, that you have to spend every year. Borrowings, loans. Now, various kinds of loans are available. Mostly we approach banks to get these loans: housing loans, vehicle loans, educational loans, personal loans are commonly used loans. Correct? You buy a house, the housing prices in most cities have skyrocketed. Correct? Why? Because the demand for housing is so much that the prices are way beyond the league of a common person. So a common person should never fulfill his dream of buying a house? Well, no. A housing loan comes to his or her rescue. Approaching a bank for an housing loan, yes, and buying a house of your dreams is what most of the people do. But then when you take a loan, you have to repay it back to the bank. How do you repay it back? You repay it back by paying EMI, the last term that I have written on the slide. What is the EMI? Equated monthly installments. It is a sum which has principal amount and interest amount. So it is a combination of principal and interest, a fixed sum that you repay the bank every month for the duration of the loan. Normally housing loans are long-term loans, say 20 years, 25 years, and you keep on repaying it every month by way of equated monthly installments, EMIs. Vehicle loans, again on the 4-wheelers or 2-wheelers that you purchase, these loans you have to repay them back again similarly through EMIs. What is the cost of borrowing on these loans? Cost of borrowing is the interest that the bank charges when you take money from the bank. Now, cost of borrowing again is an expenditure that you have to take into consideration. So, over and above the principal amount that you have borrowed from the bank, interest forms a significant portion of your EMI over a period of time. So, this is what is a loan. This is a way in which you can raise money to fulfill your needs. Understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying wants. Needs. If you raise money, if you borrow money to fulfill your wants, it is a sure short way to end up bankrupt. Why? Because you can compromise on your wants. Your life does not depend upon whether you are traveling in an aeroplane or a bus or if you travel on a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, correct? So again, while taking up a loan, while borrowing money, it is absolutely necessary that you think about why you need it. Does that wish fall into the category of need or want? And then buy and then take up a loan, because significant portion of your income goes towards repayment of that loan. New age currencies. Now all of us know what Bhim has done in India. You go to a vegetable seller or you buy something on a cart, and they have a QR code scanner wherein like you can just pay money through your mobile. Digitization has changed the way we buy things, has changed the way monetary transactions happen in India. More and more it has so happened that we keep less cash with us, because we have our cards or we have our smartphones through which we can easily make payment, correct? So e-wallets, say Paytm is an example of an e-wallet, wherein, or say GPay or Samsung Pay, whichever phone you use, or Apple Pay, Bhim, which is a government app. Through these through all these apps, what happens is your bank accounts are linked to them and you can easily make payments through your phone, right? There is this picture where I have written Bitcoin. I hope some of you have heard the name of Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is a kind of digital currency. Now, what is the currency in India? The currency is Indian rupees, correct? Who has the authority to issue it? The central bank. The Reserve Bank of India has the authority to issue, the Finance Ministry and the Reserve Bank of India have the authority to issue currency in the country, right? What is Bitcoin? Is it issued by the Central Bank of India? Well, no. Bitcoin is an independent digital currency. It is one of a kind. You have Doge coins, you have Ethereum, various currencies that are available in the market. But none of these currencies are regulated by the central banks of any country. Okay, these currencies are digital currencies which are available, which you can buy online and make payment for online transactions. But again, I should warn you that even though these are new age currencies, they are very nascent as of now. They are very new. We are used to our government regulating the currency and we getting the currency from our banks, correct? Investing your money into things that you do not understand how they work is not the right way to invest, is not the right way to put your money in it, correct? Because tomorrow if the value of that Bitcoin crashes, which is happening now, yes, you do not have anyone to fall back on. Tomorrow if you are defrauded in an online transaction, there is no to go. You can't go to a police station or you can't complain to any authority saying that I was transacting in a digital coin and a fraud happened and I lost my money. Why? Because there is no authority who looks after these transactions. So even though they are new age currencies, their regulations, where do you go in case you face problems, all these things are yet to be worked out. So putting money in these currencies, I would suggest not to go that way if you do not fully understand how they work. Things are developing. India is coming up with its own digital currency. Look out for what happens. Look out for any legal recourse that you have in case you face any problems, in case you are defrauded, and only then put in your hard-earned money, correct? Even though the currencies are new, they are the currencies of the future, but right now, wait, watch, read what is happening about them, read where the market is going, read what the government is doing about these currencies, and then only think of entering into these new age currencies. one thing that you should know, one golden rule about money is that never put your money in an investment or a product that you do not fully understand. Just because 10 other people are doing it, they are expressly showing off on social media how they earn millions and billions and how they earn money in a year's time by investing in XYZ products. Don't fall for such things. Yes, put in your hard-earned money only when you understand the product, only when there is a legal recourse in case you face problems in your investment. Only then put in your hard-earned money in various investment products. These are the regulators now. Now RBI, as I already told you, is the central bank in India. It is the banker's bank. It is the regulator for all the banks that are operational in the country. In case you face problems with any of your bank or any banking transaction, you have a legal recourse. You have an ombudsman that is appointed by the RBI, who is appointed area wise, and you can write to the ombudsman for your complaint, and your complaint will be resolved by that ombudsman. Correct? So RBI is what? Banker's bank. It is the central bank, the regulatory authority of the banking system in the country. What is SEBI? Securities and Exchange Board of India. What is the role of SEBI? What does it regulate? It regulates the stock markets. It regulates all other investment options that are available in the market. Correct? So be it mutual funds, stock market, equity shares, the regulator is SEBI. Correct? What is the role? What is the basic role of market regulators? To safeguard the interest of the investors. See to it that investor safety is paramount and investors do not lose money in their investments. If they are defrauded, these are the authorities where the investors can go to and lodge a formal complaint. So these are the recourse. This is a recourse available for investors in case they face problems with their investments. Now like this is a short course and we are at the end of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below this video and I will be happy to solve all your queries. Be informed. Be aware about what is happening around you. Yeah, don't get wrongly influenced by what is shown on social media. Make sure you understand. Make sure you read about the new things that are available in the market, and only once you are sure about them, then think of entering those products. Right? So I look forward to taking your questions. Comment below the video and I will definitely answer your questions. I hope you have liked this small financial literacy course that I have prepared for Children's Day and added some knowledge and added value, changed your perspective towards money and how you should manage it, and be good money managers. Correct? Thank you. See you soon. Bye.